Hey there, this is Vicki Arsenault, and you're listening to another episode of Faithing Your Fears. Thanks for joining me again today, guys. We are continuing on with the stewardship series. So today we're going to talk about stewarding your time, kind of managing your time better. And I'm going to warn you up front that this is not going to be a typical time management kind of talk. I personally am not strong at time management. I have learned some things online over the years, but I really don't feel confident enough that I could say, yeah, this works, and I could just pass this on to you as though this is something I do every day, because I don't. I'm not awesome at it. But there are lots of resources online that you can check that out. The one thing that I want to say, though, is if you're sitting on the other end of this podcast and your calendar is like chock full of stuff to do, then I want you to just evaluate what is on your calendar and what are you doing that is actually important. If you're sitting over there and you're thinking, I don't have time to relax, like I'm working all the time, or I've got this going and that going and the kids going here and this happening, that happening, blah, 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 and it's so full that you're just constantly spinning, I will just say this: you are the master of your calendar. So if your calendar is full, it's because you're saying yes to a lot of things. And maybe some of those things are things that you should say no to. Maybe it's about time to have a change in season in your life where you start saying, wait a minute, I've got to reprioritize what is important to me, what is going to help me live the life that I want to live, and then start putting those things in your calendar and taking out all of the things that are not important. I know that it's awesome to be involved and to volunteer and to do all the things. I know that. But if it comes at the cost of like your sanity or your sleep or your little bit of alone time or quality time with family and friends, you just really have to kind of ask yourself if this is even worth it. What is worth it? Like, to get something on your calendar, it should be something that is precious, because that thing that you're going to be doing is taking time out of your day. And we sleep 1/3 of our lives, right? If you're sleeping 8 hours a night, that's 1/3 of your life that is spent sleeping, which is necessary. Your body needs to be able to rejuvenate throughout the night. But that means you've got the other 2/3 of your life. Like, who do you want to give that 2/3 to? What do you want in your calendar? What's going to feel awesome to you? Yeah, there are some things we're going to have to do in life that we don't exactly enjoy. Like, I've talked to you about laundry before. I don't even have that much laundry and I still don't like it. But, it's got to get done. That's just one of the things in life. But what I want to say to you is to just really think about what is important to you. What is the life that you want to create for yourself? And then fill your calendar with those things and make sure to leave some blank spots that you can actually stop and just relax and think and just process your day or spend some time with God, whatever. But carve out those times, make your calendar look the way that you want it to look. So a couple of scriptures that I want to share with you today, which I think is going to be helpful for you. One of them is from Psalm 90, and it's verse 12. And it says, "Teach us to realize the brevity of life so that we may grow in wisdom." I think a lot of times we think life is long. We've got all this time ahead of us. And I'm a big fan of thinking about what is ahead. I think to myself, man, I'm turning 48 this year, and I've got at least a good 40 years in front of me, if all goes well, that I can do all kinds of things. Like, this is amazing. I can create stuff. I can be with people. I can travel. I can do whatever I want. I've got 40 years ahead of me. But I don't really know that I have 40 years in front of me. I have no idea how many days I have in front of me. And so in that regard, I like to dream big about 40 years. What could I possibly do in the next 40 years? But the truth is, life is actually really short, because even if I live the next 40 years and I am at 88 years old, maybe I even live beyond that, it's still just this little blip of time in the span of eternity, right? I mean, it's just this little tiny bit of time. And so when we start thinking about how brief life is, then we can actually start going back to what I was just talking about, which is filling our calendar and filling our life with the stuff that is really important, the stuff that's really meaningful, the stuff that can leave a legacy, not the stuff that just keeps us busy, the stuff that can actually make a difference. And that's such cool stuff to be able to fill your life with. When you come to the end of life, you can look back and reflect and feel like, man, I did the stuff that I wanted to do. I had a good life. This is awesome. The other scripture that I love that I wanted to share is from Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I know I've said this before. Ecclesiastes is one of my favorite books in the Bible. Most people read this book and they find it very depressing. And if you read it from beginning to end, you're like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This is so depressing. But when you get to the end, that's when you realize what the whole point of it is. And it's that, basically the whole book is like everything is meaningless. But the point of the book is that everything is meaningless. Like if God is not at the center of your life, if that doesn't even matter to you, then acquiring all the stuff that you want to acquire in the world, partying it up, just having a great time, all this stuff, it's like it just ends up being useless. And I'm not even doing the book justice. If you want to read it, like, go for it, but just maybe read the last chapter first and then start at the beginning. It'll be much more encouraging that way. But anyway, so here we are in verse 1, and what it says is, for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. And then it goes on with all the things that you've probably heard before, like a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to harvest, and it just goes on, and it's showing that there is a season for everything. Even right now, where I live in New England, seasons are changing. Winter is on its way out the door, and spring is opening up. And I'll tell you what, last week we had a week that was at least a few days of it, we got up to like 50 degrees. It was so great. It was like t-shirt weather. And then today, it felt like, I don't remember what the temperature was, but the feels like temperature was minus 19. So, but that's what happens in March. April is coming, and eventually we're going to have spring. And I love it because it just reminds me that in life, not even just with weather, but in life, there are different seasons that we're going to go through. Spring for me is a season of life. The trees start budding again. The flowers start blooming. Life starts to happen again. And then all summer long, we get to enjoy this warm weather and just beautiful colors all around us. It's my favorite time of year. And then fall comes, and fall has its own beauty. But to me, it also means, oh great, winter's coming. And I don't look forward to winter because the winters are way longer where I live than any other season. And it's not my favorite season. I know it's necessary. But I feel like there are seasons like that in our lives, right? There are seasons where we feel like there is new life being born. And we're feeling like, this is great. We're unstoppable. There's so much to look forward to. And then we go through these seasons where stuff feels like uncomfortable. It feels like things are dying off of us that, maybe we enjoyed before, but we don't enjoy anymore. Or there's just change and it just feels icky. And then you head into that like winter season of your life where it's like, ugh, okay, like I'm up another day. Oh, please, sun, just shine today. Please, no more snow. Like you're pleading. And then again, spring starts to roll around. It's like that so much in our lives. And I feel like when we start looking at our lives, like we could totally pay attention to the circumstances, or we could pay attention to the God of the circumstances and not pay attention to all the noise around us. When you live your life and you're living it intentionally, you're living it purposefully, then you get to ignore all the crazy around. And you get to ride through these seasons of life, knowing that when you're in a down season, an up season is coming. And also recognizing when you're in an up season, you don't always stay up, because we grow in those hills and those valleys. We grow as people through all of those things. We learn to appreciate more and more things about life when we suffer loss or we go through these challenges. It really opens our eyes of understanding to a lot of things that maybe we hadn't seen before. So even though some of the seasons in our lives feel really icky, you also have to appreciate those seasons, because they bring forth the next season of blooming and blossoming, and where you get to just be creative and feel alive and feel restful and feel peaceful. You know what I mean? So stewarding your time here on this earth, I just want to encourage you, yes, look at your schedule. If your schedule is a mess, then fix it. You're in control of your schedule, so go ahead and fix it. There are tons of resources online where you can go and find ways to, manage your time better, bit by bit, hour by hour, if that's how you are. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, that's awesome. But really thinking of life just in general, thinking how short life is, and thinking, what do I want to do with the time that I have here? How can I make the best of it? Don't spend your life going through the motions and just having a busy calendar. It's not worth it. What is it worth to spend all this time doing things that you don't even enjoy, to hopefully have some life later down the road that you might enjoy? Come on, enjoy your life now. Take control of your calendar. Take control of your situations now while you can. And take the time to enjoy life. Enjoy the season that you're in right now, because this season will be gone. Today is going to be gone tomorrow. It's already done and over with. And all I'm going to have tomorrow is that day. Tomorrow is going to be my today, right? So don't live in the yesterdays. Live looking toward the tomorrows, but living in your present day right now, because that's the only one that you are currently living in. You're not living in yesterday. You're not living in tomorrow. You're living in today. So make the most of this 24 hours. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to share with you guys each week. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you find some value in any of the podcasts that you hear. And I'd love to invite you to come over to my Facebook page at facebook.com/Coach Vicki Arsenault, and just like the page and follow. I share lots of different things on there that you might find useful or helpful. And if you are somebody who has been thinking to yourself, hey, I'm not sure I want to work this job anymore for the rest of my life. I feel like I want to do something different. And you even are thinking maybe I have an idea for a home business or something like that. If you do, just hop on over to my free Facebook group, which is called The Home Biz Cafe. So you can just go to thehomebizcafe.com and you'll get access to the free group where you'll be around lots of women who are also planning their businesses, or just kind of dreaming about what the possibilities could be for this next season in their lives. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.